All right, so now we are going to show you how to remove the clutch and replace the clutch or the spring on a VR200. We just removed the shrouds. Everything is still tight. You definitely want to keep all this tight down here until you break free the 2 Allen head screws that are in here, bolts that are in there. I had a T-shape that I used, but also you're probably going to need one with a little more leverage, so the L type of Allen wrench. And again, it's going to be an 8mm. You're going to get it in there, and as you can see, this is moving on you. You want to grab one on the other side and you got to put some pressure in there to break that free. Now, I broke it free earlier, so it's a little easier for me. You have to put a little leverage in there to break these free. They do have Loctite in them from the manufacturer. What's going to happen is you're going to be able to now take this side off, but now when you try to remove this side, you can see everything moves. The whole flywheel moves. So what I'm going to do here is you can use your same Allen wrench, stick it through one of these holes here, go up against the frame. Okay. Use your other one to break it free. Again, if the T doesn't work, use this up here and this down here. So what you're trying to do is put pressure up against this and now break this one free. And we'll be able to remove that out of there, both sides. You can see that does have Loctite on it. And we'll go ahead now and grab the other side, and this is loose enough that I don't have to hold that down anymore. Already it's broke free. And now I'm going to remove the 2 screws that are on top of my spring. Remove these 2. But before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and now loosen this up down here so that I can bring this flywheel up and relieve the pressure off of this drive belt so that I can remove that. All right, so now that we've gotten our clutch bolts out, now we're going to start working on this section down there to loosen this, to bring the flywheel up, give enough slack to take this off to the side so we can replace our clutch. Best way to do that is, again, fold it down here. Take your front end back, and there, now everything's exposed for you. We've already loosened the most of it anyway. Most of the way I've loosened the 10mm nut that holds that T-bracket that's going to adjust the tension on this belt. And what I'll do is I'll go ahead and take this nut pretty much flush at the end with the bolt. That way you have enough room to move up and down. And then I'll do the same thing on the other side, all the way flush. Once I get that flush, I should be able to push the flywheel up further. All right, so I got this one flush as well. One more key, of course, the inside nut and the outside nut need to be loosened. 17mm. We'll loosen this one. You can see that it's pretty loose. This is still stays tight because the inside nut needs loose. So you'll have an inside one here that you will loosen up as well. Possibly the other side still need to loosen up as well on the inside. And you can see all the movement I have on there now. If I even take that off to the side, it allows me to go all the way back. And that gives me enough slack now to work on this clutch, because this clutch, I'm going to have to move it back and forth to get that nut back in there once we put the new one on. So we'll go ahead and bring this one back down in the folding position so that it'll allow us to work on this. Now that we have this flywheel loose, what I've done is I fed this belt to the side of this wheel, allow me to bring this drive belt up and over that so that we have enough room to work with and this is not pulling down constantly. I got to remove the 2 screws from the spring. I already had one out and this one pretty loose already. Put that down there. And then as you can see, that's coming out. You want to make sure that you're pushing in on this and pulling up at the same time. It's not going to be easy, but it's doable. There's a very small margin for it to go in there. But if you try to pull it out sideways on a bind, it's not going to work. You want to get these two in there and probably start this one out first. As you can see, this one's out first, and then with the screwdriver, come over here. If you can see, pry it out. And let's see, we're still working on it. Popped it out. Okay, stop it. All right, so now that we've this is the new clutch that's on here. Sometimes if you don't have the strap on the clutch, then you would have to remove this here. There's 2 screws and a snap ring, and this slides out and you can replace the strap. But with a new clutch, all you're gonna do is take your spring, slides inside that insert before you get it on there, okay? And so you're set. Don't put it on like that, because when you pull, your handle will not retract. You have to spin the spring 4 to 5 times clockwise. So we'll go 1, 2. I'm gonna go 4 on this one. 3. So we got 4. 4 full turns. We gotta hold this in place. Get it in here, get this belt up on there. One side like that. And then I would bring this in first. Okay. Kind of try to get that in there. Your other side too. It is a tight fit, as I said before, but it can be done. Again, it almost has to go. If you notice, you got right on the money there, right on the, it's almost a precise fit, and you can see as I push it, boom, how easy it went in, because it can't be binding. It has to be straight in, and that's the same way it should come out, but straight in. Once you have it in, get your screws on your spring, and after you put at least 1 screw on the spring, you can test the handle to make sure it retracts back. So I got 1 on there now, and I'll just take a quick test and just make sure that, there you go, it's coming back, and that's what I want. Stop it for a minute. All right, so now I have the 2 screws in my spring. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this belt over, and now I want to go ahead and put my 2 Allen wrench nuts in here before I put my flywheel and connect it back up, so that I don't have any type of resistance towards it. So here we go. We'll get 1 on this side, and you're gonna have to push that up and get it centered to get this one started. So I got 1 started already. Don't tighten it all the way down. Go on the other side. And there we go. This one's started now. You're gonna need 2 Allen wrenches, of course. Again, 8mm, so that, now once you got them both snug, you want to bring them in the opposite direction to get them tight. Okay, that's pretty good. They still have a little bit of Loctite. So here we go. This is what I want, that retract on there. So this is pretty much set. We have to now work with the flywheel and getting the belt back on here, which again, you'll have to take this over to the side, feed it inside, gives you enough slack to get this up and over that. All right, so I'll need a little bit more. And we'll bring this up, bring it over everything again, back on. Okay, so we're ready, and then bring it back on here. Your drive belt centered down here. Remember, we can adjust this later down here. So now we're ready to adjust our flywheel. Just lift it up, fold, and bring it back position the way we started, so that we can tighten this back up. And what we're going to do is we're going to start tightening the 10-inch nuts so that it pulls it down. You want to tighten it enough to where you can feel it pretty tight, and then do the other side the same. Make sure the wheel's all level and even, get on the machine and try, test it. And if it slips, then you want to come back here and just start tightening, maybe 2 full turns on each side. Go back, start rowing again until it stops slipping, and then you'll know you have the right resistance on there. That should be enough, right?